Hey everyone, welcome back to the beautiful Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. It is about mid-January, which means it is the peak in season for Miami Beach in South Florida, which means a lot of the people who are coming from Canada, New York, New England, really tend to migrate down to South Florida, particularly one of the hot spots here, Sunny Isles Beach, to kind of escape the cold weather. We call them snowbirds. So on today's walking tour, we're going to be checking out the main Newport fishing pier here in the gorgeous Sunny Isles Beach. We'll be walking Florida's A1A, and we'll also be talking about some of the new developments here and some of the most notable buildings. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. This is the main lifeguard stand here. It's a beautiful day. It's about 74 degrees Fahrenheit. A little bit windy. It's actually been relatively cool here in Miami, Florida for the season. If you were to make a right, that would take you southbound, just to kind of give you some geography and the lay of the land here in Miami. If you go south of Sunny Isles Beach, you would run into Hallover Beach as well as Hallover Inlet, which is very famous if you've ever seen the YouTube channel Wavy Boats. It's one of the most, I would say, famous kind of areas to watch. A lot of the boats coming in and out, has monster waves. And then just as you go over the Hallover Inlet, you'll have some of the best shopping in South Florida at the Bal Harbour Shops. Really luxurious, really high rent district there. And as you continue further south, it's going to run you into Surfside, which is an amazing community. There's a lot of great restaurants, really good nightlife, and there's a very large Jewish community there too. So if you need that option of kosher dining, restaurants, coffee shops, really even anything you could imagine, you have it right there in Surfside. Then, if you continue down even further south, that's going to run you into my favorite neighborhood in all of Miami, called Little Buenos Aires, which is right there on 72nd Street. You have tons of great restaurants, cafes from Argentina. My favorite one, if you want to write this down if you're visiting South Florida, Cachito Coffee and Bakery, right there on the corner of 72nd Street and Harding Avenue. We'll take one look at the water here. Super clean. This is some of the cleanest water and really kind of the most private beaches you'll get in Miami. One of the best things about Sunny Isles Beach is that there's not a whole lot of tourists here. A lot of people who are in Sunny Isles Beach either have a pied a terre here, they own a condo, something like that, where they kind of come here to snowbird. So the beaches aren't going to be so packed. We'll make a right here at Tower 167 of the lifeguard stand. And we'll go up on the fishing pier, where you're going to have incredible views, really incredible views of the skyline of Sunny Isles Beach. I would say one of my favorite buildings in Sunny Isles is the Turnberry Ocean Club Residences, which is a little bit further north. There's a lot of iconic, very high-end condominiums and apartments in Sunny Isles. They actually nickname it the Billionaire's Row of the South. If you've watched any of our walking tours from New York City, oftentimes we talk about 57th Street in Manhattan, which is New York City's Billionaire's Row, where you have 157, Central Park Tower, Steinway Tower, and the like. Here you have the Turnberry Ocean Club. You have the Porsche Design Tower. And coming soon, You're going to have the Bentley Tower, as well as the St. Regis. Right here you have the restaurant, so you can come up here and grab a drink, grab some lunch or some dinner, and have these really great views overlooking the beach and the fishing pier. This is looking north towards Aquilina. And here it is, the Newport fishing pier. You can see the hours of operation, opening until 9 p.m. You could even rent fishing rods and things like that, buy bait. It's very, very pretty up here. And you could enjoy the views overlooking Sunny Isles Beach. I'll switch to the wide-angle camera lens just so you can kind of get a really good scope of the views from up here. Looking down to the water, extremely clean, super luxurious. And then this is the view looking north. Take a walk to the end of the pier. And I would honestly say, if you're looking to snowbird in South Florida and you want peace, you want privacy, you're not really into the, let's say, the rowdy nightlife that you would find in South Beach or even in Mid-Beach, Miami, or even really in Brickell, but you want to be close enough to the action while also being far away, I do believe Sunny Isles Beach is that place. It's a very tight-knit, kind of Russian community here, nicknamed Little Moscow. The beaches are fantastic, particularly as you go further north. If you remember from earlier in the video, we were talking about the Turnberry Ocean Club and the Porsche Design Tower. They actually rake those beaches every single morning so you have fresh sand. And they're all public beaches too. You know, there's no private beaches here, so you get to enjoy that. So if you're thinking about renting something here or maybe buying something here to live in during those brutal winter months in New York and in Canada and the Northeast, maybe Sunny Isles Beach, Florida is the place for you if you kind of want some peace and quiet. Also, might I add, you're very close to Aventura, where you have a really great mall. And another great thing is you're equidistant between Miami International Airport and Fort Lauderdale Airport. So you can take your pick. If you don't like flying out of Miami, if it's a little bit too crowded for you, well, you're actually equidistant between the two airports. You could fly right out of Fort Lauderdale. It's about a 2.5-hour flight from New York City's John F. Kennedy Airport. Now that we've walked far enough, you could actually see Aquilina in the distance. You could also see Jade and the Turnberry Ocean Club and Residences, as well as the Porsche Design Tower. Now, Bentley is going to be built just south, literally the plot of land that's just south of the Turnberry Ocean Club and Residences. And the two St. Regis Towers, it's going to be two very tall towers. It's going to be built just north of the one and only Porsche Design Tower. So there's a lot of new development going up in Miami. And there's this very big trend of the brand name condos that are going up. But just really get a look at how blue that water is. Hopefully the video is doing it justice, but it's almost a little unreal how clean and blue this water is. You could see all the way to the ground. We'll go to the wide-angle camera lens again just to give you that scope. And if we walk all the way to the end of the pier, you'll be able to see some of the pelicans here. It's a really unique skyline. All right, let's go ahead and walk back and head out, and I'll take you to the main Florida A1A. You could even see Haulover Inlet from here. Haulover Beach is kind of where the buildings get really, really low, where there's no buildings. And then you go over the inlet, and it'll take you to Bal Harbor. So that's another thing. You get all the privacy of living in Sunny Isles Beach. And if you have a Vespa, it's a 5-minute Vespa ride to some of the best shopping in the United States, at the Bal Harbor shops, some of the best restaurants. About a 10-minute car ride. So you have the beach, the best shopping, and it's about a 30-minute drive to Brickell and downtown Miami. All right, we're now exiting the fishing pier. You can see a little bit better inside the restaurant, which is newly renovated, by the way. So there's a big bar for seating. You have a big dining room in the back. It's really an awesome area to hang out. And one more look at the view. Really beautiful palm trees here. And this is where we entered. Right at the main lifeguard stand. It's actually one of my favorite views in Miami. So once we get to the main drag here, A1A, if you were to make a left, that'll take you down by the Trump Towers. There's 3 of them. You'll also run into the brand new Ritz-Carlton Residences, which is the second to last building before you hit Haulover. Here's kind of the main valet area here. But we're going to make a right by the Starbucks and head up in the direction of the Turnberry Ocean Club residences, as well as the Porsche Design Tower and the development site of Bentley and the Ritz-Carlton. If you see all those cars in the distance getting off that big highway, they are coming from North Miami Beach. So this is the intracoastal. And if you go over there, that's a really nice community of single-family homes, only about a 10-minute drive away from the beach. Obviously, a little bit more affordability the further away you go from the ocean. But if you're thinking about moving here permanently to Miami, North Miami Beach is definitely an up-and-coming neighborhood that you should keep your eye on. You'll also notice the amount of traffic. It's pretty much bumper-to-bumper gridlock. Now, this is because of two reasons. Number one, it's in season now in Miami, like we talked about before. After New Year's, this is when all the snowbirds come down. And I could say with 100% certainty that over the last 5 years, there's been more and more and more people coming down to Miami. I've never seen it this busy. I mean, Brickell, downtown Miami, Wynwood, the Design District, it's like every day is rocking. So Miami is becoming more and more and more fashionable, and I have a prediction that it will continue to become increasingly more fashionable, particularly because a lot of businesses are now moving down here. You have a lot of high-paying jobs that can compete with those salaries, such as New York, Chicago, San Francisco. And the quality of life here, as you can imagine, is really unmatched. I just came here from New York City. I flew in January 9th. It was 20 degrees in New York, 20 degrees Fahrenheit. With the wind chill, it felt like single digits. Then you could jump on a plane 2.5 hours, you're in 75 degrees, bright sunshine, and at night it gets down to about 65 degrees. So Miami is really going to be giving those major cities like New York a run for their money, particularly during the snowbird season here. If you look over to your left, this is where a lot of the shops and the stores are. Pretty much all up and down Florida A1A. You're going to have, Marshalls, a lot of banking institutions, Starbucks, you have a big Publix the further you go up. My one request is that they should build a Whole Foods here. In a lot of the new buildings that are going up near Wynwood, Midtown, the Design District, I see that Whole Foods has been signing a lease in a lot of those major buildings down there. I think a Whole Foods would do really, really well up here towards Sunny Isles. Another thing you might notice is just the cleanliness. That could be a really unbelievable juxtaposition for you if you're coming from a city like New York. You'll very, very rarely in Sunny Isles Beach see even like a gum wrapper or even a cigarette on the floor. Everything is so meticulously clean, so meticulously landscaped, so unbelievably safe. So as you're talking about quality of life, not only do you have unbelievable weather that can't be beat, but you have the cleanliness and the safety that can't be beat as well. Here you have Einstein Bagels, you have a CVS, UPS stores. and I'll give you a quick look at some of the buildings here and notice how well the landscaping is done. It's not like a blade of grass out of place. It's a very, very impressive community. Now, the last thing I might add, if you're thinking about buying a condo down here, you really, really have to pay attention and be careful of buying in older condo units. Ever since the Surfside collapse, which was a horrible, horrible tragedy here, a lot of these older condo units are being hit with large special assessments. A lot of these condominiums have been putting off necessary restoration work for many, many years. With new laws and regulations that were passed, they are no longer able to put those off. So many units that you may see, two-bedroom units that are trading, below $300,000, you may think that that's a good deal, but if you really do your diligence, if you purchase in that building, you could be hit with a six-figure assessment. So make sure you're buying in a building that has great financials. It has a history of proper maintenance. And if you need help kind of navigating that experience, feel free to reach out to me. Or just stick to some of the newer condo projects that are going up. A little bit later on in the channel, we're going to be doing a walking tour around Brickell Key. Now, Brickell Key has the Mandarin Oriental Hotel and Residences that are going up. The original Mandarin Oriental Hotel was constructed in 2008. That's going to be closing down. They're going to be tearing it down, and they're going to be building a brand new hotel along with the residences. So we're going to be doing a full walk of the construction site. It's going to be a very, very impressive unit and a building. This is the Jade. We're going to make a left right here on 170th Street. In another video, we're going to be exploring Sunny Isles Beach right to the north. Let me switch to the wide-angle lens so you can get a good scope of just how massive these condos are here. Really, really impressive buildings. And here you have public beach access. The one downside that I will say about Sunny Isles is it is very busy. So if you have kids, if you have a family, these sidewalks tend to be very narrow. And there's a lot, and I'm talking about a lot of vehicle traffic. So you do have that safety concern from the traffic. So just be mindful of that. There's always drawbacks of every community. I would say that's the most pressing issue in Sunny Isles Beach. Now you're overlooking the main Starbucks here. And looking southbound. So if you all enjoyed that walking tour of Miami's Sunny Isles Beach, feel free to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and if you need help relocating down here to Miami, Florida, particularly Sunny Isles Beach, feel free to email me at the email address below, and I'd be more than happy to help you and your family find the perfect place right here in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. Thanks so much for watching.